All right. Hello, everyone. Want to welcome you to this first Thursday Facebook Live question and answer. My name is Ronnie Elliott. I'm the National Director of Club 1040, and I'm joined by our founder and International Director, Matt Beamer. It's going to be a great day today. We've got a lot to cover. Yeah, so every first Thursday, we have our Club 1040 live question and answer. This is the best source for up-to-date information, prayer requests, and it's an opportunity for you, the viewer, to ask questions. So I know we're just coming on live and people are going to be joining us, but as we're going through, you might see some questions pop up in the feed. We encourage you to, if you have a question that pops up in your mind, this is a great time to ask it, and we'll try to get to those either now or at a future edition. So we're thrilled to be here. Ton of stuff to dive into today, Matt. Man, thanks so much for being able to beam in today. And a few quick things. We will always want to cover who we are, what we do. And if you're on this call, you may have heard this before. Club 1040. It's more than a name. It is a vision. So a club, it's a group of like-minded people who come around a common purpose or mission. Our common purpose and mission is the 1040 window. So located between the 10th and 40th parallels north of the equator, spanning across North Africa to the Southeast Asia, it is the area of the world that has the greatest concentration of people with little or no access to the gospel. In that 1040 window, Club 1040 targets 22 countries in what we call MENA, or Middle East and North Africa, in that region in the window. So our vision here at Club 1040, you can say it in 3 words. We see a finished work. Jesus said he came to do the will of him who sent him and to finish his work. That's what we see done. We know this Great Commission will be completed, and we're approaching that by faith and doing our part. Our mission, or how we do this, Club 1040, we are a relational missionary movement reaching the unreached. So 3 ways that this mission is accomplished. We train thousands of indigenous church planners and leaders. We're mobilizing 100 plus near culture missionaries by 2030. And we inspire the global church to bring completion of the Great Commission by reaching every unreached nation. Our 2030 vision is to train thousands of leaders, mobilize hundreds of near culture missionaries, and inspire dozens of church planting movements across all 22 MENA nations by 2030. So Club 1040, we're a relational missionary movement. Everything that God does in the earth, he does through relationship. And Matt, we've got some awesome people we're in relationship with going to be joining us later in this call. We definitely want to take a few minutes and answer some questions that have already come in. So I've got a couple for you if you're ready for them today.
Yeah, sure. And for those, just kind of that little deeper teaser on that is Mark Harper from Nigeria will be connecting with us in just a little bit here, so we get to hear like from the ground impact, the ripple impact of Partners Fruit from the 15 years plus that Club 1040 partners have been investing in Nigeria, and the ripple effects of what that has done, and some exciting results of his visit there. And then also, I'm here in Egypt right immediately after this. We'll be running to a meeting so that we can, it's was it 7 p.m. here, and we'll be doing a meeting for an interest meeting for a new church launch that's in the works. So exciting times. But yeah, questions, go away. And then if you have other questions, like Ronnie said, please just drop them in the chat there. And as we said several times, you don't have to wait for this time to ask questions. You can ask questions and drop them in, and we'll capture those questions over the period of the month and endeavor to answer them. So go ahead.
Yeah, so you've been traveling through, security sensitive nations. You're currently in Egypt. Matt, the question that came from the team was, what does a normal day look like for you right now?
There's no such thing as an average normal day. I guess the normal day is completely different every day. That's the normal day. It's always different. So like, for example, today, usually I'm up early Julie and I both are up early, but I'm up really early. So usually, 4 or 5 o'clock, something like that. And then, of course, morning devotions and things like that. But then uh, I like to get my computer work done early in the morning. For me, that's the best time to do it. So there's connections like communication with the directors from all across the countries, the different Bible college teams, church planning teams, translators, national leaders at all different levels. Lots of Zoom meetings. Then there's usually some kind of writing component, whether it's just writing in the daily Bible devotional thing I do every single day. I do leadership lessons for daily reading in their Bible, then post that, and then also I do some other writing. But then there's a lot of times there's travel. Like was it yesterday, the day before? It's usually by 6 a.m. or something like that. You're on your way to the airport. You're in the airport. You're on the planes. You're getting off the planes. You're in the taxi. It's a good hour and a bit from the airport to where we are here in Cairo right now, as an example. And then it's usually, I mean, the practical things that people don't think about. There's unpack and there's pack your stuff. There's things like that. There's Arabic, continuing to do Arabic lessons. There's food, connecting with people, relationship meetings, lots of relationship, a huge amount of our time spent in that. And then, like I said, it's 7 o'clock right now. So the days, most people are at home when the day's finished. So that's like first shift that's first shift. And then we go to the second shift and you start doing things like this, where you're zooming into the U.S. side, you're connecting with the U.S. teams, U.S. partners, things like that. And then, we're going to be going to do, in this case, a meeting where I'll be sharing, from the scriptures, from the word, concerning what it's like to start a new work with a group of people from the country here that are thinking, hey, we might want to start a new work. And then tomorrow it's teaching all day. And actually after tonight's meeting we'll finish at like 10 o'clock or something, then we're going out to eat with a missions director from Kentucky who happens to be in the country at the same time, and from the church, one of the partner churches. So tomorrow it's teaching most of the day, and then Saturday teaching most of the day. We haven't, and all the times we've been, just since the big grand museums open up, we haven't been. Julie and I squeezed in a couple hours to go do that. But so, I mean, there is not a normal day. Every day is different.
One of our shared Bible school instructors said ministry is spelled WORK. I'm hearing that through your daily schedule there, normal day. Now, one more question from the team. This one's fun. What is one moment from this current trip that made you laugh out loud?
Okay, so something made me laugh out loud. Usually it has something to do with some interaction between Julie and I. We make each other laugh a lot in great ways. I don't know. The thing I think that's made me laugh the most recently, it was just yesterday, and this is going to sound funny, but so I've never done my open dive certificate for scuba diving. It's one of the things I've always wanted to do. It's kind of one of my bucket list things. And there is a dive place that Julie and I are celebrating our wedding anniversary next week. And so there's a dive place that I'm gonna do that in the Red Sea. And so I'm going through the e-learning part of, in between all these other things I'm doing the e-learning of, that you have to do before you actually do the dive stuff. And it's talking about like what to do when your air doesn't work and all that kind of stuff. And Julie, who grew up in the deserts of Arizona, who thinks there's a shark in every mud puddle, she starts hyperventilating, and she starts like almost like having a panic attack just from reading the lessons that I'm doing online. And I had a serious good laugh about that. Anyway, not very ministry related, but gives you a little window into our regular interactions with each other.
That's good for the soul. That's awesome. Well, like we said, we've got Mark going to come on in just a few minutes. We've got a ton of things to talk about. Matt, I'm going to ask you just to maybe cover some things here on our monthly recap. We'll kind of look back at April, And as we're looking into May, what's been happening, some of these awesome updates. Our team has some pictures they can show as you're talking about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is since we last did this, because we're going to be talking about Nigeria, as we transition out of Nigeria, one of the things we did is we mobilized unreached people group adoption amongst unreached people groups across the north of Nigeria, and that continues all these years later, from 2015 when we formally turned things over, 2018, I think it was. All that time it's continued to grow and grow and grow. And they just got done with an amazing medical mission in areas where there wasn't any Christian work going on. And it's all done from local money with local leaders, and all Nigerian led, Nigerian funded, all of that. And it's a part of the ripple effect and the impact of what the partners did when they helped establish the Bible College, because it was through the Bible College that this work has started. And so these are guys that give of their time, they give of their money, their medical, and they brought together. You can see there's what they call a borehole or a well up in the top right-hand corner. So they go into an area, they preach the gospel, they get a small group together, and then eventually bring in a well, bring in medical missions, stuff like that. So that's a pretty cool thing that partners, the ripple effect continues.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Then the other thing is we just this last weekend on Saturday had the Beirut charter class graduation, and we were privileged to be there. That's where Julie and I flew in from. And you can, kind of scan through a bunch of the pictures there. There was approximately 60 students that graduated. And kind of a cool connection is about 2 weeks before the graduation, I was in Lebanon as well. And I shared, we have a course we call Great Commission course. And in that course, we, in the first level, we teach on the foundations of that. And the second level, we really like, in everything we do, we like to not just inform or give information, but actually activate, have some kind of an activation thing. So in this one, I challenged the students to research they got into groups of eight different groups, I should say, and they challenged them to research the frontier people groups. That is the people groups with the least amount of access to the gospel. And they were to then choose one of those groups and then present like a pitch, a 6-minute presentation. This has all happened. Their very last hour of their training was 8 different presentations. And those presentations were amazing. And the idea is that the frontier people group that was the pitch that kind of won would be the one that Club 1040 would formally adopt. And it would be the frontier people group adoption of that graduating class. And Club 1040 partners would put up to $20,000 of matching funds from resources that are developed locally for a graduate of that Bible college and a team to work together to actually execute on that plan. And the winning group was announced during the graduation. And it's pretty awesome because you have people from non-Christian backgrounds. I don't want to say too much in an open environment like this, but they come from non-Christian backgrounds, which if you've listened to us, you know what that means, who are making the pitch to reach out to people from similar backgrounds that they came from. In Iran was one of the people group was in Iran. So I don't want to go into any more than that on that particular thing, but that's the kind of thing that when you establish a Bible college, you're not just helping us establish a Bible college, but you're having these ripple effects, like with the UPG adoption across the north of Nigeria, or like this in the medical mission. You're having the ripple effect of, for example, these graduates who are coming along together to collaborate towards reaching a frontier people group that has little to no access, about 1.7 million people. So lots of amazing things taking place. And the cool thing about the graduation is it happened, for the last 2 years as they've been going through their training, there's been war going on. And they just continued and continued and continued. So it's a really amazing thing that the graduation has taken place. And while we were there this last month in Lebanon, we also went out to visit the site in the near the border of Syria, where the second campus. So there'll be a intake in Beirut, but this will be the second campus. And there's a building project there, and Club 1040 partners have been so generous towards that building project. And so if you've been around for many time, you've seen some of the cool things that have been happening with that project. That church will be the first purpose-built church in the area for multiplied decades, and definitely one of the largest church of our kind of church background in the entire country. So it's pretty amazing what God's doing.
We've always said that Lebanon is a key to the Middle East, and seeing like years of partners' gifts and prayers and going and mobilizing Western missionaries to help the work, but to see these guys graduate fully prepared to affect the region, that's so powerful. And knowing that this church is built right there in a strategic area to reach across borders and affect nations around that country, it's pretty overwhelmingly amazing. It's so awesome to be a part of this. I just want to celebrate one more time all of those students who took time, like you said, through the conflict, to be faithful to show up, faithful to study, and God's gonna honor that. And as they are, when we say we mobilize near culture missionaries, this is what we're talking about. So powerful. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and we want to see that same thing happen all across these 22 countries.
Yeah, outstanding. Well, I think we've held off as long as we can from bringing our special guest on, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring Mark on. And as Mark's coming on,
hello,
Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Ronnie.
So, Mark, tell us your background and how long you've been doing ministry and what your ministry focus is.
Okay. Well, I received Christ. I grew up in Michigan, same state that you're from. And a lot of really good people have left Michigan over the years. But I grew up in the Detroit area, got saved my senior year in high school, went to Rhema. One of the elders at our church, it was Bloomfield Hills Christian Church where I got saved. His name was Joe Nanowski, and he was on Brother Hagin's board. So the Nanowski Center at Rhema is named after him. But because of that, Brother Hagin would come through there every year, and I heard him talking about Rhema. I had plans to go to university, but I heard him talking about Rhema, and the Lord spoke to me and said, go to Rhema. There were a lot of people that were resisting that idea, my parents and others, but it was clear that it was the Lord's. So graduated from the first year in 1978. That was like the fourth graduating class. I think I was either the youngest or the second youngest student there. I was 17 when I went to Rhema, and most of the students were like 40 at that time. It was a different environment than it is now. But one of the smartest decisions I ever made in my life was to go there. It was just a one-year program. One of the cool things is we got to hear Brother Hagin teach every day in 1978. After that, it was divided between, first and second year. So that was cool. Built a foundation for my life and ministry. And then 78, I hung around. They announced they're going to start a second year. So we were the guinea pig class of the second year. And I took a course there. Everybody was taking the same courses. On children's ministry taught by a guy named Willie George. And that was a life-changing relationship. It was the first time I heard somebody talk about God calls people to kids ministry. I got involved with him at Faith Christian Fellowship, serving in his kids ministry. Had a chance. I taught the preschoolers at 11 at 9 o'clock. Instead of going to big church, I asked Willie, can I just go and watch you? So for 9 months, I just sat there and watched Willie minister to kids. That was, I don't know, I made a couple smart decisions at a young age. And that was another one, just the opportunity to sit there and watch him as a kids pastor week after week. There was an impartation to minister to kids that came on me. and an understanding about how to take God's word and break it down for kids. So
Yeah,
that's how I
so-
got started in kids ministry.
That's almost a half a century ago, Mark.
Yes. I know I don't look that old. I know I look like I'm 29
Yeah.
still. But
If
Another
I may,
couple-
let me give that proper intro. Thank you, Mark, for that background.
Yeah.
Pastor and leadership coach, Mark Harper, over 40 years of experience in the local church. He's the creator of Super Church Curriculum, which is used in over 5,000 churches worldwide. The focus of Mark's ministry is obviously helping leaders build strong churches and helping parents build strong families. So following Julie and their team's participation and Pastor Mark's Children's Leaders Conference in Minnesota last autumn, during which we hosted, they hosted the Nigerian team. So Mark and Debbie, his wife Debbie, are able. They're the keynote speakers for the National Children and Youth Ministers Conference, where over 400 youth and kids ministry leaders came across the nation in Nigeria. And Mark was sharing about how he could really feel the hunger of the people that were there, that God's really moving powerfully there in
Amen.
Nigeria.
Yeah, and so one of the things I want to pick up on is back when you were first starting out, there wasn't the same understanding of how to minister to children in a contextual way that there is today.
Absolutely.
And really, your curriculum and Willie George Ministries were two really major impacts on the church world that actually educated the world as to that's important to do and how to do it effectively. And the reason I wanted to mention that, because it relates to Nigeria, is Julie helped to, when we went there, she helped to spark a similar sort of spark in Nigeria along those lines, kind of helping people to think differently about how to minister to children, not like a typical Sunday school type setting, but more like a super church kind of environment. And even to the point where, because Nigerians like to dress up to go to church. Yeah. And she got them wearing jeans and tennis shoes in the kids area when they're serving, which they never did that before. Yeah. And Ibukun came to the ministers conference there that you did, and the leaders conference in Minnesota. And she was she's the one that Julie kind of sparked in her, saw in her, and then turned everything over to her. And she's just been rocking and rolling. Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about your experience there with interacting with her and the team and and all of that.
Well, Ibukun is just amazing. She's a rock star. I know you don't need me to tell you that. I would say there's an apostolic call on her. That's my watching here. There's an apostolic call on her, not only for this area, but for the nation, to share that vision of kids ministry. And the reason that I say that is, we do a lot of ministry trips, and if I go overseas, I always want to go somewhere where it's worth my time. I don't get, I don't get a whole lot of opportunities. And so in talking with Ibukun, we were just having lunch one day at the conference. The name of the conference was the Supernatural Children's Ministry Summit. So it focuses on kids ministry for spirit-filled churches. That's our identity. And so many of the KidMin conferences are, maybe there's 3,000-4,000 people there, but if you're Pentecostal, you just sort of have to hide it, kind of thing. And so I wanted to do a conference where, we could address the issues and empower people, have Holy Ghost meetings at nighttime and that kind of stuff. So it was a blessing to have Ibukun there, and I'm just talking with her, and it just sort of came out of my mouth. I'd like to go to Nigeria. And then after I said it, I thought, do I really want to go to Nigeria? It was one of those things that just sort of came out. And then I thought, well, that was the Lord. Then I think I bumped into you in the parking lot of the hotel, and you kind of paved the way for me with Brother Tukes there. But more and more I realized, okay, the Lord's in this. And I was just, I've been to a lot of conferences. In this conference that she pulled together with the support of Rhema Nigeria. So two things: you could see her leadership, but there was no way she could have done it without the support of Rhema Nigeria, with Brother Tukes and Dr. Akuna and all the leadership people just helping with that. But a conference like that for 400 people, my understanding there was 90 different churches there, and it just, all I had to do was just come in and preach, like she did all the work. And so, but I do want to say this. I asked her at one point, because following this, I was doing some teaching with the students at the Bible College at Rhema Nigeria. So not the conference, but following it. And I was doing a session on vision and the importance for supportive ministry people. Yes, you're following the pastor's vision, but if you're over an area, you have to get a vision yourself. Well, there's no way anybody can do what Ibukun did without vision. And so I just asked her, where did the vision start for this? And she said, well, it started with Pastor Julie. And she just said something to me: if we really want to reach the kids of Nigeria, we got to reach the people that are teaching the kids, the people in the churches and the people with the parents. And that's where the vision started. And so she started doing that. And then that grew into a conference. I think the conference itself started 7 years ago. And this year was the, according to Ibukun, the biggest one, the best one that they've done so far. The quality of the speakers that were there, Brother Tukes, Dr. Akuna, I was blown away by how many people, how many youth pastors, kids pastors, children's ministers in Nigeria are producing resources for Nigeria. These are quality people that are very spirit-filled Pentecostal people. But I just wanted to say that the vision, and you know this, Matt, but to your partners, the vision for this conference started 10, 15 years ago, just with those words that Julie spoke to her, and they stuck. So seeds that were planted, the financial seeds that were planted 10, 15 years ago, they're still producing a harvest. Just, that's what created that harvest, if you will, was the words. It started with the words that Julie spoke and the mentoring of Akuna, and it grew into this conference that had 90 different churches, and it's just it's really just getting started. This thing can just take off, and like I said, I've been to a lot of them. This was a not only practical but powerful meetings, Holy Ghost ministry, people, prophecies, words of knowledge, people getting, falling under the power. Everything you think Pentecostal was just a powerful time.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that and helping people kind of see a little window into the ripple effects. Even though now we've transitioned fully to Nigerian leadership, the ripple effect of those things continue. And we love, our we're a relational missionary movement, Reach and Reach. Our relationship never stops, even if our direct leadership of something comes to a finish. So
have you seen the Mission House here?
It's been a while. They moved after we moved out into a different place. But why do you say that?
Well, it's a really nice spot in a gated community, and everything, and like a legitimate gate, not those Florida gated communities that anybody could hop the fence, But so like when you walk in, there's kind of the lobby of the door, and there's a picture of Brother Hagin and Aretha, and then Pastor and Lynette Hagin, and then Matt and Julie Beamer, and of course Brother Tukes and Akuna, But anyway, when I just saw everybody there, it just really blessed me.
That's so cool. I love it.
Seeing the seed, the harvest that you guys planted. It was 10 years that you spent here, right? Is that?
Yeah, that's right.
About right. And I was telling Deb, I said, and we've been blessed, but I'm ready to go home. It's only been 2 weeks. I'm so glad we came, and I'm definitely coming back. But I was saying, like 10 years, like that's a long time.
It's not the same. When we first went, there wasn't internet, there wasn't some of this stuff. So right, it's a lot different. But I want to say thank you to you for saying yes and going, because that means a lot to everybody. And Deb there going with you guys, going together. And it just really blesses me that someone of your stature would be continuing to water and the seeds that have been sown and continue to invest, because it is a ripe ground. There's when we first moved to Nigeria, there was an article that was I think it was in Relevant Magazine, a Christian periodical, that said something like the geographical center of the global church had relocated from, 200, 300 years ago, it was Europe, then America over the last 100 years, and it relocated to basically right there in Nigeria. And when you think about 90 churches, those 90 churches that are represented there, it is all, a number of those churches will have thousands and thousands of people, and hundreds, if not thousands, of children that are being impacted. So the ripple effect of ministering to leaders of children in that way is massive. Then, like you said, a lot of them have materials and curriculum, and a lot of them do a lot of online stuff. And so over the years, easily it impacted tens of millions of children over the years since that started, in the ripple effects of things. And we appreciate you being a part of it and want to say thank you.
Yeah. Amen. Well, thank you. I mean, I look for opportunities like this, where you can really have an impact in a short period of time. And just, it's obviously we're jumping on the bandwagon of what you guys built years ago, and Brother Tukes and, Ibicon, all that. But at the same time, it just, I only got so much time left. It's kind of how I look at it. And so if that's 10 years or 20 years or whatever.
Well, if you want to maximize your influence and impact, Nigeria is a good place from which to do it, for sure. And it's a lot of fun to minister there. There's few places in the world that are more enjoyable. And I don't know of any other place in the world that is as enjoyable for people who are ministers that can minister in English, as in Nigeria. It's just a special place.
And for Word of Faith ministers, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just the spirit that they have here. We need to bring it to America. That's all I can say. Like the fire that they have, their preaching, the strong, bold preaching of the faith message. I mean, it just stirs me up. I mean, it just, I'm going back. I think I'm more blessed than they are. That's how I look at it. Like, it just, I'm on fire. And so anyway, it's,
Tell everybody before you leave, tell them we said hello, and we appreciate them. And once again, we're so thankful to you and Deb for coming. Thank you.
Amen.
All right. God bless. Hey, Ronnie, that was fun.
So incredible.
Lots of exciting things have happened over the last month, but what's on the calendar coming up?
Yeah, as we wrap up here, and we try to keep these to about 30 minutes, we have a very exciting event this Saturday. That is the grand opening of our clubhouse. For how many years that we've been working in a 12 by 12 office. A generous partner has made this detached garage area available to us that we've remodeled and have increased our capacity to be able to have team members come and serve. Our dream team is doing an awesome job of getting this place ready, and we really want to celebrate what God has done through the partners of Club 1040 to make this available. So if you're in the Oklahoma area, the invitation is out on Facebook to come this Saturday, May 9th, from 1 to about 3:30 is our grand opening. We'll actually have a ribbon cutting about 1 o'clock. We'll actually get to hear from you and Julie. You'll be beaming in remotely from wherever you're at in the world at that time, and it'll be a little late for you. So we appreciate you staying up late and hanging out with us on the U.S. side. And but we want to hear just some vision, but also just have a blast. This is a kid-friendly event. We'll be talking vision and talking missions and reaching the world, but we want to have a blast doing it. If ministry's not fun, you're not doing it right. And so we want to model that there. But yeah, if you're in the Oklahoma area, you want to come to the grand opening of the clubhouse this Saturday, 1 o'clock.
Awesome. Yeah. Looking forward to that, and attending via iPad or whatever electronic device you can. I can just imagine Julie being, walked around in the iPad with, talking to everybody that comes, and that'll be fun. All right. So one of the things we like to do is also share a little bit from a prayer request standpoint. There's a tremendous amount happening with legal paperwork that is needing to be completed, and some of it's been delayed in different places. Some of it we can't talk too much about, but others it's going really, really well. So be praying into those things from a prayer request standpoint. Everywhere we go, you have to set up the legal organization and whatever it looks like in that particular context. And like, for example, right now, it's been a week and a half trying to get a payment made to a lawyer, and just getting the resources to the lawyer has been a challenge. So it's silly things like that that sometimes can cause delays. But Julie and I, we continue, from here, we're going on and continuing we'll be sharing in the region. One of the things I can't talk about two of the places that we're going to, but one of the things I can say is we are on Pentecost weekend. We're going to be in the south of France, which we don't normally do that. But years and years ago, I probably shouldn't say this publicly online, but years and years ago, the Lord spoke to me. If anybody ever asked me to come and minister along the lines of missions, that, that's unless he tells me not to at that time, that's kind of a almost default yes. And so I'm going to be sharing along those lines. They asked me to come specifically to do kind of it's called their fire conference there with Philippe and Rebecca, and the south of France. And I love that because the south of France has a strong contingent of North Africans. And so we want to encourage the French believers to really mobilize into North Africa, the unreached of North Africa. So that's going to be exciting. And that's a prayer request as well. And then again, there's travel through places that are currently, flights could be delayed easily or changed easily. So be praying into travel like that too, so that we have smooth travel. We've been so blessed. We've had a couple small delays, but pretty much haven't had any cancellations or any delays. It's been really, really smooth. So thank you all for all your prayer.
Yeah. And so just closing up here, want to encourage everyone to keep an eye out for our e-news that's coming out shortly. One way you can help support and really push this mission along is just follow us on social media, share this Q&A, this monthly Q&A, kind of stick that in your calendar for 11 o'clock Central Time. It's the very first Thursday of the month, and then keep sending those questions in, those things that come up when you're hearing, Mark talk about children's ministry. I was thinking, oh, wow, Julie shares how when she was a child that the Lord really got a hold of her heart to reach people for Jesus. And man, if you can get a hold of the heart of a child, a young person, at a young age, the ripple effects for a whole life of mission work that can turn into, and from that heart of that child turn into a movement of children's ministry in an influential nation. So just powerful stuff, and we want you guys to be a part of that. So follow us on social, share those things, keep sending those questions in, and that's all we have for today. Matt, I'm so glad that you could join us, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, our ride's waiting for us. But before I sign off, I just wanted to remind everybody that Clifton 40 has developed a 4-week mission curriculum, and Mark Harper was the one that helped Julie. They spent a couple of days together, like brainstorming, her and the team with Mark Harper up in Minneapolis, brainstorming that curriculum. And he's been a big part of helping to put that together. So just another kind of connection there too. All right. Well, God bless you. Thanks, Ronnie, for everything. Thank you, team. Thanks, Madison, everyone from behind the scenes. Blessings.